Denver was long overdue for some snow, and today it finally came. The city picked up a few inches, enough to mark our snowiest April days since 2021. But a lot of it's already gone out there, and what's left of it won't be around for too much longer. We're glad you're here with us tonight at 10. I'm Alexandra Lewis.
And I'm Kyle Clark. This taste of winter isn't done with us yet. There's going to be a hard freeze overnight, so let's get right to 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen for details. Corey?
Hey, yeah, the good news is that most of the roadways dried out nicely in the afternoon and evening hours, so the commute doesn't look like an issue. The impact will be to the vegetation as that hard freeze hits during the growing season. Here's what's left of our storm front down here in southeast Colorado, washing out in the Arkansas River Valley and some dry air, but the cold air went all the way through the state, so we're all going to be cold tonight. We're 33 degrees. We're hanging above freezing here in the downtown Denver area, but those temperatures are going to start to drop into the 20s here very quickly. That's why we have that 9 News weather impact alert going all the way till 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Low temperatures between 25 and 18 degrees. Like I said, most of the impact will be to the vegetation during the growing season. Look at all these warnings in purple. The entire eastern half of Colorado is in a freeze warning, as well as the Grand Valley, the northwest corner and the southwest corner, all included in freeze warnings with some very low temperatures for the middle of April. The temperatures will get above freezing by about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then we'll start to warm up, and that will continue a trend into the middle of the week until our next storm system comes next weekend. So I'll have details coming up in the full forecast.
Thanks, Corey. So Coloradans know that snow can be part of any spring day. Doing something outdoors can be an adventure. Like today, of course, you get the Rockies hosting the Dodgers, the U.S. women's national team taking on Japan over at the Richard, and Sublime played a show at Red Rocks. This is not exactly baseball weather, but Rockies fans are used to hardship of all sorts. Not certain how the soft Dodgers fans fared out there.
9 News reporter Colton Chavez is outside Coors Field. Colton, looks like the fans weren't really worried about the snow, weather.
Yeah, no, not at all. Talking with them, a lot of people tell me snow in April, well, that's just part of the deal here when you live in Colorado. And for fans that we spoke to here outside of the stadium, they tell me they weren't going to let a little winter weather ruin their weekend plans.
This will be our first snowy show.
A spring storm did not stop Coloradans from getting outside and getting after it.
You know, if you're from here, you love being outdoors, and it doesn't matter if it's sun or shine, snow, rain, you're going.
That seemed to be the motto for Sublime fans who packed Red Rocks like it was a warm summer day.
You can always layer up. You can't take clothes off when it gets too hot. People frown on that.
So I brought a jacket just in case. We'll see if we need it or not, obviously. And I brought a beanie, you know, just in case there.
Sports fans weren't scared by this snow either. Fans flocked to Dick's Sporting Goods Park to see the women's national soccer team take on Japan. In Denver,
Gonna have the earmuffs. I should have my gloves on.
Long socks.
Rockies fans came prepared to play the Dodgers.
Even my dad texted us a picture, was like, I think game's gonna be canceled. We're like, no, it's sunny now.
It seems the snow did not slow anyone down.
I mean, we got the view with the snow on the mountains. You know, it was snowing all day today, so this is what we're used to. We're ready for it.
I don't know, we kind of thought about not coming up, but I mean, how are you going to not?
And I had to save this last piece for the end of the story because talking with Rockies fans out here, one of the questions I asked was, on snowy cold days like this, you would think that the Dodgers coming from sunny California, maybe that would give the Rockies a little bit of an edge on our opponents. Unfortunately, that didn't seem to be the case, but guess what, Rockies fans, we have another chance tomorrow. Live in Denver, Colton Chavez, 9 News.
Of course, we'll keep you updated on the weather on air and online. Just scan the QR code you see on your screen, download our news app, and watch us for free.
A federal judge is putting a hold on the acquisition of 9 News' parent company, Tegna, by Nexstar, which owns Fox 31 here in town. Nexstar has previously said that multiple stations in the same city will be combined. The judge's order says the expected loss of newsrooms and journalists is one reason why the deal should be paused while an anti-monopoly lawsuit proceeds. Nexstar, the largest owner of TV stations in America, got approval for the acquisition by the Trump administration. President Trump has said the deal, quote, will help knock out the fake news. Nexstar has called itself the anti-fake news. DirecTV and Democratic attorneys general, including Colorado AG Phil Weiser, are suing, saying that the enlarged company would be an illegal monopoly. Nexstar says it's necessary to compete with big tech for advertising. The injunction blocks Nexstar from consolidating TV stations as the lawsuit continues. Nexstar says it will appeal the injunction to a federal appeals court.
Traffic on I-70 at the Colfax overpass near Golden is moving again. The semi-truck rolled over there this afternoon, spilling fuel all onto the road. West Metro Fire says luckily nobody was hurt, but the truck was badly damaged. The semi was the only vehicle involved. It's not clear what caused the crash, but of course it did happen after it snowed. DIA is warning of a new threat in which scammers pretend to represent the airport. In social media posts this week, DIA said they've received reports of their public phone number being cloned. Of course, officials say they will never ask for sensitive personal information over the phone. We talked with an expert about signs you should be looking out for.
People need to be intuitive when they're on the phone and they're asking for information, or they're providing any kind of information. They start getting questions. If you called, the Denver International Airport and some guy starts asking you to verify, who you are, what's your social security number, what your address is, that's information that is completely irrelevant to the phone number that you dialed, right? So
he also told us if you think you've been a victim of a scam, you should report it and change all your passwords immediately.
A proposal to revive the Denver Pavilions downtown would involve demolishing the west side of the open-air mall to create a new park. The Downtown Denver Development Authority bought the pavilions and the parking lots behind them last year. At the time, city leaders said the place was headed for foreclosure. They wanted to make sure that it didn't end up owned by somebody who didn't have Denver's best interests at heart. The Development Authority brought together a panel to figure out what to do with the property. In addition to the publicly accessible park, that panel is also suggesting that 2 residential towers be built. The panel will provide a formal report in the next month or two, then the Downtown Development Authority will determine next steps.
The city of Denver is offering relief for more small businesses impacted by construction along East Colfax.
As the bus rapid transit project continues to tear up stretches of Colfax, they're expanding eligibility of who can be helped. 9 News reporter Rhea Jaws along now after talking with a business owner who applied for that assistance. Rhea?
Yeah, the construction along East Colfax is happening in phases, and so as each section wraps up, that's when businesses in that stretch become eligible for relief. And now a new group of businesses is up, getting their chance to apply as the project moves forward.
A sea of orange left in the wake of the BRT project moving along Colfax.
They took out the median, and there was plenty of noise. And
businesses like La Finca have weathered the disruption of the construction.
They closed down the street a few times, or they'd shut off water sometimes. It was always something different.
And are now up next for relief.
But they moved on, and you get to apply once your block's been affected by the construction.
The city is now offering grants up to $15,000 for another set of businesses.
As the construction moves along in different segments along the corridor, the grant rounds will kind of follow that.
Shelby Morse is with Denver Economic Development and Opportunity.
As the construction moves along in different segments along the corridor, the grant rounds will kind of follow that.
She says eligible businesses need to prove impact.
To demonstrate a 20% or greater revenue decline using a minimum of 90-day consecutive revenue periods, comparing pre-construction revenue with the during construction revenue.
Kevin Contreras, one of the owners of La Finca,
we applied last week,
says the last 2 years have been the toughest since opening 5 years ago.
Sales were really good 3 years ago, really good. So it's easy to prove.
The grant application asks businesses how they would use the money.
Like payroll, marketing support, just anything that would support their business during this time.
At La Finca, Kevin says they've had to cut hours for staff and would mainly use the money to make up wages.
Thankfully, we have a lot of loyal customers, and they keep coming back. So
as the cones keep moving, businesses are holding out for relief.
I know a couple business owners that have had to close down because of the construction. So I know for us, yeah, it might be enough, but not for everyone. So
applications for businesses are due on May 15th, and the city is also encouraging people to go to small businesses and help them out during this time. Rhea Jaw, 9 News.